thought off the top here on Cormier Rumble 2. Seems like a lot of people are wondering if Daniel Cormier can handle the distractions, right? We're going to talk enough about the fight today, but in terms of the mental stuff with DC and everything that he has going on, I don't know that I would label them distractions. And as I said to TJ off the air today, I don't think any of that is new for him. I think, if anything, it helps center him when he has the training camp and is able to step away from UFC tonight and all of that stuff. I mean, you're his close friend. You're around him a lot. Would you agree with me that if he loses this fight, it will have nothing to do with anything but Rumble being better Saturday night?
Yeah, I agree. Listen, he's an active dad and all that stuff. That's a very important job to him. But that's not a distraction. That's what he does. That's what he's used to. And as far as UFC Tonight is concerned, as TV commitments, he's been away from UFC Tonight for I think a month and a half, maybe 2 months. So I haven't seen DC in the studio. So he hasn't been in. He hasn't been traveling. He's been staying at home. He's been training like an animal. I think he's very focused. I think he realizes the kind of danger that Anthony Johnson possesses in his hands. And I think he's ready to go, man.
You think DC can beat him on the feet if he has to? I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility that Anthony Rumble Johnson is better than a 7-minute fighter, as some people have suggested, and as DC, I think, thinks he is, and that he could stuff takedowns all night and keep the fight upright. How confident are you that Cormier can hang on the feet, if not beat Rumble, if it does stay steady?
If I'm being perfectly honest, I think at range, from long range, I think Anthony Johnson is a better striker than Daniel Cormier. I think in tight, Daniel is a better striker. I think he goes to the body well. He dirty boxes very well. He mixes things up a little bit better, I think, than Anthony Johnson. But from long range, you don't want to be trading with Anthony Johnson. No one at 205 pounds wants to be trading on the outside with someone like Anthony Johnson. And with that said, I think Daniel Cormier fully understands where his strengths lie and where he's most susceptible. And he's got to be very, very smart against someone like AJ. Forrest, listen, man, huge fight, UFC 210. You're the former champ at 205. Cormier versus Johnson. Break down that fight for me.
So I just saw, is Cormier now an underdog?
He is an underdog. So right, John? Is that the latest odds?
Yeah, I know. I know when Forrest taped his UFC rankings report, and I know you got your finger all over the pulse of the odds now, Forrest. But when you taped, so Cormier was a slight favorite. Now he's a slight underdog. So it's nominal, but it's close.
I think that's funny. I just I kind of follow things like that, but some of that is about the money line too. You know, John, you're really good at this sort of thing. But my thought would be, I kind of listen to the odds makers because they have millions and millions of dollars on stake with this stuff.
Yeah.
So they're going to get it right, or at least try real hard. But, let's look at it. Cormier's been relatively inactive. He's 38 years old. 2 years hasn't done him well. He wrestled his whole life, put a lot of grind on his body. Anthony Johnson's last couple of fights have looked relatively easy. Not a lot of wear and tear. He's been touching people. He works with a good team, although I think, kind of Black Zillions just kind of fell apart, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that may have, messed up his training, et cetera. So, it may not be congealed. But I don't know, man. I obviously don't pick fights because I have to see these guys in person. It seemed like a little unprofessional. You're trying to get a guy to come out and train with you, and you're like, oh, yeah, I picked you to lose. And besides, I already had to shave my head with the Cody thing, so I'm not making any more bets.
Are you going to keep the hair short, though, is the question. I think it's a good look.
I think I am, at least for summer. Yeah.
You seem like a practical guy. You're anti-overpopulation. Like, what does a guy like you need a bunch of lettuce on top of your head for? To me, the economical, more functional haircut for you, unless I'm missing something, is a shaved head.
No. Well, and then we factor in the fact that I'm married, so who cares if my ears look big?
Okay.
I just had the same haircut my whole life. Like, honestly, if you look back at me in like 5th grade, my hair was the exact same as it was when I was fighting. I just needed to shake the tree a little bit. I guess I just hate change that much. Maybe, I don't know. What have you been up to, Ken? What are you doing?
Me? I know, dude. I'm telling you, man. Forrest is one of those guys that every time I see him, it's like we picked up exactly where we left off. This guy's the man. But I haven't seen you in forever, dude. I do miss you. I've been I've been training. I'm doing a jiu-jitsu match coming up at the end of April. So I've been training for that. And just talking to my man John Anik, which is brutal. I hate it every week.
Monday, April 3rd, 5 days away from a massive fight for your boy Chris Weidman. You leave for Buffalo tomorrow or tonight? What's the word?
I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave Wednesday. He left today. I'm gonna go up Wednesday, and yeah. But yeah, I had the last workout yesterday, and he looks great, man. I'm psyched. I'm nervous. I'm anxious, but it's gonna be a great night. I think. Right now, I think what we have is the old Chris Weidman, and that's exactly what I wanted for this fight. And I expect you to see a great fight. I really, really do.
What's the difference in Chris? Do you think is it that he's healthy? Is he adding more skills to his arsenal now? What do you think, Rick?
I'll tell you, it's more definitely healthy, and I think he made really smart decisions this camp. I mean, he really wanted to go to Brazil with Volante for his fight. He wanted to, corner Wonder Boy for his fight. But, we kind of said, listen, dude, it is a huge fight. And, you really got to concentrate and really stay focused. And I think that was it. He did some stuff. He did a couple of things that I think really are going to make a difference in this fight. And it's really just coming down to health is always paramount to me. So yeah. He is healthy, but he really I really trained him for a 5-round fight. I just want to take no chances, and he looks great. He sounds great, which is even better, and I'm sure he'll be great.
That's awesome. Now, what do you think about the main event? Who wins this, Rumble or DC?
I tell you, I think these guys both of them know exactly what they have to do to win. They know, they know what happened the first fight. I think, the problem with Johnson is that he does have a tendency to break. And, and my problem with DC is I love him, literally love him as a fighter. And, I even like him, as a commentator, everything. I just hope he put his eggs in the right basket and got the proper training because, he's not getting any younger either. And, I think it's something even like with Chris, you work your ass off to get to the top, and then, you kind of level out a little bit, you plateau, and then you got to come back. And, Johnson and Mousasi, both, they've never tasted what those guys have tasted, and they want to taste that. And I think that's where they're both really dangerous. So that's really what, it's they said that about Marvin Hagler. The guy defended his title like 14 times in a row, and they said just the consistency. Every training camp, he was on the money, never faded, and that's the deal. So I think that's what I tried to do with Chris is really bring him back to, what got us there in the first place and just, talk about that. And, really it's, you can't relax in this sport. Like, again, I always say you're either all in or all out. And he was all in for this camp. And I really think you're going to see a difference. It's not even adding anything to his skill set. It's just making sure that his skill set that he has, he could do for 15 minutes every second of every round.
Most of his UFC fights have been 5-rounders, so kind of nice that he has a 3-rounder here. I mean, how much did your training camps change for a 5-rounder versus a 3-rounder?
It definitely did for me. I mean, it's just more training. You got to be in better shape, so you're doing more rounds. There's a lot more sparring involved. There's a lot more conditioning involved. So over the course of the camp, I feel like it has the tendency of breaking you down a little bit more. It's a little bit more stressful.
Without a doubt.
Right?
Kenny. Yeah. Without a doubt. So I tried to, again, I trained him for a 5-rounder, but, with Kenny saying, but not crushing him in areas where he could get hurt or he could weaken his body. Just, I really just amped up the cardio. And I think the proper way, and you can almost see it in his physique. I mean, he's real. People are saying, like he's on steroids. I really take that as a compliment, And he's as clean as a whistle, and he just looks great. And again, sometimes you look great, you feel great. And when you feel great, you perform great. And we still got 6 days to the fight. I want to write a book called Fight Week where, that by the time when the guy leaves you to fight night, there's a lot of things that could happen, So the weight cut goes good and the rehydration goes good. We're going to have a great night.
Can't wait for it. We will see you in Buffalo, New York. Ray Longo, and TJ tells me this is the 99th Ray Longo minute. TJ's good at sort of, playing spoilers. So it's not 100, I guess. But we thank you for it nonetheless, and we look forward to seeing you, buddy, in a few days, man.
Awesome, bud. I'll see you up there.